Hi guys, Kim here. Welcome to Backyard Blooms. In today's video, we are going to do a mid-July tour. The last tour that I was able to do was in May. I skipped June because things were struggling here in Charlotte, North Carolina with all the rain that we had, and then I was able to spend some time with family at the beach as well. So I'm going to get the camera turned around here and I'm going to show you these gorgeous blooms that I have here in my garden in July. So let's just start from the corner here all the way over. This pot is my aqua pot and this one is the medium pot, and I feel like I'm having some kind of drainage problem out of it because when I fill this container up, it has a water reservoir that's down here and it's supposed to soak up from the bottom up. And the reason why I think that I might have a problem is because when I fill it up, it's supposed to come out of the drainage hole, and for some reason it's not. And some of my super bells dried up, and once super bells dry up, you might as well just pull them out because there's really no hope for them. But this is right here is the new queen tut, and it is doing really good. I'm really happy with the queen tut this year. It almost makes me feel like it's fireworks in a little way. So really love how that plant is doing this year. This one is brand new for this year. And then once I pulled out my super bells, I added some of the Super Tunia Mini Vista White. And this one's doing really good. But some of the other ones have been on a struggle bus. So like I said, I probably need to pull all of these plants out and redo that because I think it's not pulling up from the mid part of it. And then you can see the Hydrangea Falls is doing really well right there. I planted a lot of Hydrangea Falls this year. It's doing really good in my container, so really happy with that plant. So there is one container. And then this is the side of the house, and this is the Lubana Skylar elevated planter box that I did a video on, so you can look back at that video as well. And I do love that it has the shelf down here, so you can add a couple of small containers. And then I have a begonia that's right there that looks beautiful, and then a sun impatient back there. That was the blush that I had in the very front of my container, and we'll get to that when I'm at the very front of the house. And the showstopper in this container right now is this black potato vine. Look how pretty that is. It has a heart-shaped leaf. Looks really pretty, and I love the contrast of this black against the white, and then the contrast of the black potato vine against this lemon coral sedum right here still looks really pretty. And I love that it's got a different texture against the potato vine, so that is doing gorgeous. And then in the back I have the red winged begonia that is doing really pretty. Look at the center of this flower, just real dainty and a gorgeous small flower, but still gives you that great pop of color that I'm looking for. And for some reason I picked up a surefire pink begonia that I didn't realize that I had in the flat. So when you're grabbing flats, make sure that all of the plants that are in there are the same plant, because you can easily see how I made that mistake right there. I just did not realize it until I got home, and after even replanting, I had to replant it actually. And then the same begonias that I have in my small pot are down here, and they're just not getting a lot of sun for some reason. Like this one actually is on the struggle bus, so I'm gonna have to water this container. But this begonia is doing good. So if I did over, I probably would not add these begonias right here. I would probably put these begonias in a container all by itself, because I feel like everything else around it is just super aggressive. So yes, everybody thinks that, you know, I know how to garden, but I've only been doing this for 4 years, and there's things that I haven't put together with other plants, and you just live and learn, and that's how you learn how to garden. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, but do really think that this container has turned out very pretty. And I can also enjoy this from inside as well, because It's right by my kitchen windows, and I could peek over and see these from the inside outside, and I really like that as well. And then the grass is looking gorgeous. So other than the little spots that I have where Sasha comes and pees on, which it's really good that I do have this on irrigation, and it gets about 15 to 20 minutes each morning, and that does help my pea spots. But look how gorgeous this grass is. So I do have Bermuda grass, and let me just rub my hand over it. Just absolutely gorgeous, absolutely thick and luscious and green. Now in the link in my descriptions, I have everything that I use that I garden with, including what I put on the grass right here. So everything that I add each month, I do the Anderson's PGF Complete every single month, and then I add some kind of soil amendment, whether it's humichar or biochar, and I've been doing that for the last 3 months. And the soil amendment helps the soil. So when the soil is happy, everybody knows that your plants and the roots are super happy. So I've been doing that for the last 2 to 3 years. I think I'm going on my 3rd year, and after you get the soil turned over, then you can stop that and you don't have to use it as much. And actually you don't have to put as much fertilizer as well. But it does help the soil, and I did some core samples before, and it is proven how well that it does. I need to do another core sample for you guys. But the PGF Complete from Anderson's, and then the humichar, or you can do the Carbon Pro G. I get it here from Site One in Charlotte, North Carolina, so you'll just have to look to see where you can get that. But you can also get it off Amazon, and I have all those links there as well. But look how gorgeous these limelight hydrangeas are. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? So I'm so glad that I have at least 12 of these in my garden, because the deer actually came and ate some of the new growth and got a lot of it, but I still have enough plants that I still was able to get lots of gorgeous blooms. So let's get a little bit closer. I call this side of my garden my hydrangea garden. And when I developed my garden, I wanted a living wall all the way around, a living fence is what I should say. I wanted privacy from my neighbors. Sonny girl. Oh, I know, I know. So these are the limelight hydrangeas. They are the little lime hydrangeas, and look how gorgeous this bloom is. Just absolutely beautiful. It is a big, big bloom, as you can see my hand here. So you can actually cut these off and enjoy them in your containers now, but they're just not gonna dry right now. You'll have to wait probably till August to dry these, but gorgeous, big blooms. And I say that I'm probably getting close to my maturity with these little lime hydrangeas. They get, well, 4 to 5 feet, but some of them are taller than me. Now we've had a lot of rain, so they're drooping right now, as you can see. Like, these are drooping a little bit. And the key for the first couple of years is just using some plant supports. So when they do droop, they're not like hanging on the ground. Like, these are really close to hanging on the ground. And then you want to prune them back by 1/3, and then that will make the stems stronger for you. So that is the key, but it could take like 2 to 3 years to get these stems really strong. And then depending on how amount of rain that you have, it's just really heavy on these blooms, the water is. I don't know if you could see me shake some of the water out. Can you see right there how much water is coming out? And then when the sun comes out, they should pop back up. But those are the little lime hydrangeas, and they will turn a light pink in the fall, depending on how cool our nights get. So that is very dependent. And look how gorgeous these Roseanne hardy geraniums are growing up from the ground all the way up to this point. I never expected this, but I love it. Like, look how pretty that is. It's kind of like a violet purple. against these limey blooms. Just so pretty. And then of course my backdrop, my highest tier is the emerald green arborvitaes, and these have been in the ground for going on, this will be the 4th year in the ground, and they are taller than me. So these will get 13 feet tall, and they make a great screening living fence, I guess you should say, to hide against neighbors if you want more privacy. Look how pretty. So let me just show you from the other side. So this is another container that I have some of the new Super Bells lemonade in there. Super Bells do better in pots, do not put them in the ground. And then the Gumfrina is like the major showstopper in here right now, along with that Queen Tut as well. And then I have some, it's hard for me to say, portulaca, saying it wrong, but anyways, look how gorgeous those are. I'll throw the name up on the screen as well. And then I have a blue container. So I try to keep the same theme of color in my garden, which is I accent it with blue or just natural concrete. And then you can see I have natural stone all the way down as a border. And this is my neighbor's fence, and look how beautiful these evergreens are. The emerald green arborvitaes are all the way down. So I have 7 or 8 on each side, and then it's separated with the magnolia in the middle, and at the very end I have another limelight hydrangea standard form down there. I do spray these for spider mites at least once or twice a year, because if you start seeing browning, the spider mites will eat all the green out of them, and they'll look like they're starting to die. So spider mites can kill your evergreens, so make sure you're spraying your boxwoods and your arborvitaes and your cryptomera trees for spider mites each year. Just show you a little closer up to this pot. And this is my new gate that I got, and I have that link in my description as well. So this one is the more expensive one. It's the heavy iron. I paid about close to $400 for this one, and I think it is very similar on Amazon. Actually, I think it's cheaper on Amazon, and I just love the detail of the gates. And look how gorgeous and how inviting this is going into my backyard. So I like to make rooms out of rooms, and this definitely just kind of encloses this area in and makes me feel like it's a room. Look how pretty that is. It's like, come on in. So down here at the ground, I have some anemones that I need to get moved, and some of the lemon coral sedum, and they went to flowers. So if you don't like the look of the flowers, which I'm not really big keen on it, but the pollinators love it, you can actually just take these and snip them off if you like, especially the older ones that have already spent blooms, and then you would have just nothing left but your lemon coral sedum. So that's what I have down here at the base, and then I have a goose from Unique Stone. And then of course the limelight hydrangeas. I like things layered in threes with 3 different heights. And then at the bottom there, I have several of the Roseanne hardy hydrangeas. I'm sorry, the Roseanne hardy geraniums down here at the bottom base. Now let me give you another tip that I've ran into that I did not realize that I was going to have a problem with. So now that I'm trying to get my base layer here at the bottom, these hydrangeas and the trees have nothing but roots in them. So now I'm running into, like if I try to plant something else, I have nothing but roots. So I'm actually planting in roots, and it's really, really hard to dig into roots. So I would advise to go ahead before you start to get a big root base at the bottom of your flower bed to go ahead and do some ground cover as well. But I do have, these are the super petunias that I had last year, the jazzberries, and this particular jazzberry came back for me last year, and you can see that it's got the hardy geranium mixed in with those petunias. Just looks so pretty. I'm loving it. Oh, look. Did not notice this weed here. This is a weed. So just pulling that up, and I didn't get all the roots, so it's probably gonna come back, but I'll just lay that here on the ground and get that later. This one, I don't have a lot of blooms on it because the deer, as you can see, came and ate all my new foliage off right there. But you can see where I have new buds coming in right here, right there. So they have no mercy. My husband says that I gave them a golden corral, and why would they not want to come up here and eat? And I get it, but this geranium's doing really, really good. And then you could see some salvia that were back there. And I believe, you know, the spider mites got this too. So evidently, you see the speckled in the leaf, that is spider mite damage right there. So I can spray those, something else to do. And then this is Miss Grace, right here. She is from Unique Stone. And then in between my emerald green arborvitaes, I have the little gem magnolia. And that has been in the ground for almost, not quite, I think this is the 3rd year. And I don't really see any blooms right now on that one. But that tree has gotten quite tall. So this is split in half of the garden, and then I have more of the emerald green arborvitaes, and they're at varying heights because some of them I had to replant. So always look, if you're trying to struggle on how to plant stuff in the red Carolina clay, then I've got some really good videos out there to teach you how to do that. You don't want to not get your plant too deep. You want to keep it at least an inch above the ground. And then make sure you, I always say, if you have a $20 plant, you're going to dig a $50 hole. And then I use my biotone and then mulch over top of that. So that is the key. But just gorgeous, gorgeous blooms. It's just so beautiful. And dainty lace-like blooms. So hopefully by the end of the season, I might get some more blooms. Hopefully, we'll see. Maybe they did me a favor. And then for some reason, the Limelight Standard forms, see how like limey green this one is? They seem to come out a little bit more white. And this is the standard form tree, the Limelight Standard, right there. And then at this base, I have a couple more perennials. I had a pentacetum right there. And then daisies that I've cut back. And then those are some of my peonies. Now, they do not like hot, so like when this one starts to die back, I'll just cut it right to the ground. Just don't pull up the roots. Once peonies get established, then they will live for years and years. And then I have another of the jazzberry that I just planted this year. And look how gorgeous the sedum is. So this will have a rose bloom in the fall. So this is gonna be my fall interest, and you can see I'm starting to get some little, where it's gonna bud out right there. And I do have a lot of solar lighting that I have up against my trees to give me some gorgeous interest at nighttime as well. For some reason, I have a bloom down here, which makes me think the deer came and did this too, which I'm sure they did because I can see this one hanging off right there. Pesky little things. And then I have a gorgeous butterfly bush that I just got from Home Depot. I have no idea what the name of this one is. I planted it way before I started to even think about ever doing YouTube. Look how pretty those blooms are right there. I do love me some butterfly bushes. All right, and then these are Nellie Stephen hollies that I pruned into like a little lollipop, and I need to start pruning those back again. I have 2 flanking on each side because I like symmetry. And then I'm at the very end of the garden. You can see this is my common area, and they have piled up a bunch of rocks down here just to give it a different look. All of these rocks actually were in our ground from when they developed this neighborhood. Isn't that crazy? So, you know, this is where the deer come from. And then that's our lake house where we can hang out together and have book clubs and rent it out for various things. And then back here you can see this is the back of my garden looking up towards the house. Everybody seems to think that I have a large garden. I only live on like a 0.24 of an acre, and that's it. So it's not that big. So I have lots of zinnias, and I did not plant any of these zinnias this year. They all came up from seed from last year, which is crazy. And then I have a Yoshio cherry tree that is finally taken off this past year. And it's funny how you can have one tree that will grow and then the other one on the struggle bus, but still looks good, but just didn't grow as much. And then look at my crepe myrtles from here. They're starting to bloom. I always feel like mine are late bloomers for some reason. Like all around the town, you can see all these crepe myrtles blooming, and then mine are just starting to bloom. But it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. It's really big this year. Of course, you know, they say the first year plants what? Tell me, guys. They sleep the first year, and you just want to get your root development the first year. The second year they creep, and then the third year they leap. But look at the gorgeous zinnias that I have with the orange. It's beautiful. I never thought I'd love orange in my garden, but I absolutely do love orange in the garden. And I think these right here are a salmon color right there. That one doesn't have much of a center in it. This one does. Like I said, and the only thing that I hate about zinnias is that it gets this powdery mildew. This is what powdery mildew looks like. But we have a lot of humidity here, and it just I can't get around the humidity. Look how gorgeous this is with the different colors. Can you see it's got like different colors of the rainbow on there? I have lots of tomatoes, and the wind blew my obelisk down. But anyways, I'm just leaving it so I don't cut all my plants off. I have lots of tomatoes that are coming in. So I need to get in here. I have some that I need to pick that are already red. But look, I put 2 tomato plants in here, 2 squash, 2 cucumbers, and everything else came from seed last year. Isn't that crazy? It's just crazy. Like, this didn't even come up last year at all. And I remember planting some of this because I wanted it as a filler. And for some reason it came back this year. Look at that. And then I had some celosia that came back. You can see the celosia, like look at all these tomato vines that have grown. Look, I've got lots of tomatoes on there, but you can see the celosia back there. Right there. I just smell nothing but tomatoes right now. And then I have some gorgeous, there's some of the celosia right there. Some gorgeous, what do you call this, fuchsia? Right there. But there's one of my wooden planter box, my raised beds, and it's full. And then in the back here, I have 3 of the hollies that are the Oakland hollies. And if you're looking for a different type of holly, I really have enjoyed this holly right here. So it stays in good form. It's not going to get that big. It's going to stay in the 15-foot range, I believe. And they just have really good form. I'm really enjoying that. And then you can see the back of my Galloway urn. That's what the back part looks like. It's doing really good this year. And then firewood and some bird bass. And then you can see the back of my rose garden here. And this is the raised bed that I just put in. I had a video on that, so you can look at that video. And I showed in that same video me planting all these seeds, and that's what the seeds that have come up. So I know these right here are zinnias, which the deer went ahead and pruned it for me there, and then cosmos there. And then this is some kind of cress green something. You can see where I have it labeled here. You can see my drip system in here. So it's dripping right now. You see it? Drip. May have cut off. And then I don't know, it says oregano, but I don't know if that's oregano. I can definitely tell what cosmos, and then the sunflowers of course are going to get much taller. And then I have a lot of stuff right in here that didn't even germinate at all. So this is the second year that I planted black-eyed Susans, and they did not come up. This winged everlasting did not come up, and my basil cinnamon didn't come up. Love and a mist, no. And then some Queen Anne green mist I do not see, but anyways. And then this zinnias definitely always come up. So this is zinnia giant lime. So that's gonna be different than what I have on the other side. And then I was gonna replant my basil and it broke off, and I just stuck it in here, and look, it's living. Yay! So anyways, this is the Skylar planter box. Above ground raised bed that's made out of the gray aluminum. It's held up really nice. So let me just back up and just show you what the back part of my yard looks like. So I have 2 Yoshio cherry trees, one there, and then the 3 Oakland hollies that are around the fire pit. 1, 2, and 3 over there by the crepe myrtle, and then 2 crepe myrtles. 1, two, and then I have another one on the other side of the house. And then there's another Yoshio cherry tree, and then I have two of the Nellie Stevens right there. And then I have two over here as well. One, and the other one's behind this Yoshio cherry tree. So at the very beginning, I do have a video where I laid all of this out and showed you my design. There's the other one right there. So you can watch that video too. I just started doing YouTube a year ago, so I have lots of videos out that do not have very many views that you can go back and look. And then this is the cottage garden. This right here is the lilac rose of Sharon. And this one is gorgeous. The deer did not really prune this one back for me. Look how gorgeous this bloom is. So this is a plant that's from the hibiscus family, but they're not tropical, they are hardy. So they will come back for me each year. I'm a zone 8. And then I do have some dahlias, a bunch of dahlias here. I need to probably get my watering can and water them a little bit more. These three I just planted this year. I'm gonna have some blooms soon. And this is a strawberry vanilla hydrangea that I've not been able to ever get bloomed, and it looks like the deer have already pruned it back for me too. I just can't, they just love this plant. So I have the Milorganite that I've been using. I think I'm gonna put out some fishing wire around this area to see if I can keep them out. And then this is another dahlia. And I got another gorgeous one right here. And I'm sorry, I'd have to look up all the names of these because I planted them a while back, not ever thinking that I needed to like really remember the names. And then I just pruned back my Happy Jack Clematis there. And for the first time last year, I pruned it back and it came back and flushed out for me again in the fall. So that's what I did on this one. And then I have a 3-way trellis right here from Gardener's Supply. You can look that up online. And then another climbing rose right there. That's the Shire climbing rose from David Austin. So this is what the other side of the garden looks like. Here's my neighbor right here. And this is the other side of the cottage garden. So I just have things just kind of thrown together here. Really didn't have any plan. I just wanted to have some dahlias for a cut flower garden, and look how gorgeous this is. Like I need to put this one inside, but I wanted to show you guys first before I took it inside how beautiful that is. Love it. Oh my gosh. Like it's just, everything's so beautiful. How can you not deny God's beauty like that? Like only God can make that, right? Like so pretty. And then I have the white dahlia dinner plates as well, right here. And this dahlia is very happy and gives me lots of big white dahlias that I can use as a cut flower garden as well. I can bring lots of flowers inside. I love to have some cut flowers in the garden, so if you go somewhere special, you can always do like your own little bouquet that no one else has, right? I love it. And then that's the other side of the trellis. And this is my Olivia David Austin rose. I've had problems with the deer getting that one too. And this one is another Rose of Sharon that is magenta. So yes, each of these blooms, just like the hardy hibiscus in my very front yard, they will only last one day, but I have so many buds. Look, like you're always just gonna have many blooms throughout the summer. And this one is my blue chiffon, and the deer got that one as well, but I don't see any blue blooms on this one right now. I do need to prune my phlox back, my tall phlox, and then I need to come in and prune, deadhead my butterfly bushes there. That is the Lo and Behold series. And then look how pretty the bubblegum super petunias are doing. They come back, they're really known to come back year after year. So don't pull the root system off that. And then I have the dwarf junipers on this side of the hill because I didn't really think that I wanted a lot of plants in here. I just didn't want this hill to erode. So that's why I put two different types of the dwarf. And then this one is more of the sun series where it gets a little bit more yellow. And then I have another Rosa Sharon that's variegated. I just planted this last fall and I had one bloom on there, but I'm starting to get some more that'll bud out right there. But I love that variegated look. And then I have some Joe Pye weeds, so hopefully some of the caterpillars will lay their eggs on that for me. And then this one is the pufferfish, and the deer like that one too. So I don't know what to say. All right, so I'm back on the other side of the cottage garden and I have another little gem magnolia here. And then my hanging baskets where I have the double impatiens that are white right there in these containers. And there's that, I can never say this name, let's see, Mauve fuchsia. What is the name of that? Yes, the portulaca, Mauve fuchsia. It is really, really pretty in these containers. And then I have the Rocapoco white impatiens, and then this is the black currant punch super bells, and this hanging basket right there. And then me and my husband made these kind of like really hardy shepherd hooks. So I have like a light that is right there that's copper, and then some cute little bird hangers. And then my baskets are really, really sturdy and heavy with the wrought iron and cocoa liners. So you can do this yourself. Just get a 4x4 and paint it and put it about 2 feet into the ground. You didn't even use concrete to just the regular dirt to hold these up. And you'll have a really sturdy shepherd's hook. And then here on the ground, I have a lot of movement going on with the pink Gara, and then the tall phlox that needs to be pruned back. And then you can see the gorgeous coneflowers over there, and another hardy hibiscus, and then the tea olives that will give me some screening against the neighbor here. I have another little unique stone frog that one of my neighbors gave me for my birthday. I have some daylilies that are shining on the wrong side. Just show you this bloom right there. And the bees. And then in my Michael's car pot, I have some of those buried treasured strawberries, and they don't really give me a lot of berries. I think I need to get them out of this pot, but there's some right there. They're just really small, and I need to get some of those dead ones off there too. And then I did a video on this coleus right here. I love this ridiculous coleus. And then there's the Golden Dreams that looks really good. And then the new watermelon, the mini me watermelon. And then the chocolate drop there as well. Doing really well. So I love this coleus container. Definitely a must to do every single year. And then I need to deadhead some of these roses. These are the Thomas Graham. I don't really have any really beautiful buds to show you. Let me see. There's one. Comes out real peachy. It's supposed to be yellow, but I feel like it's more of a peachy color to me. But they are reblooming. And then I just cleaned out my water feature yesterday. Love the sound of water. So everybody asked me where I got this. I got it at a local nursery, and I actually put something very similar that I liked onto my link, so you can look at that in the descriptions. And then my containers are looking really good with the vermillionaire. And of course, I've already told you, if you want to attract any kind of hummingbirds, this is the plant for you. And then I have the yellow super bells from this year. More of the black currant punch. Wine and roses that I pruned all the way back. And then I have some coneflowers. These are the Walker Lowe's catmint that I just pruned back, and look how much they've already flushed back out, like with new foliage. There's the bubblegum, foxglove. Hummingbirds like this as well. Look how pretty that is with that bubblegum behind it. Same coneflower theme that I've got going all the way down the garden here. And then I have some sedum. I have sets of 3. And this is the Gara that I just planted that I said that look like dancing butterflies in the garden. And I have a different coneflower that's more of a lime green that's going to be there in the back. I think these orange ones, these tangerines, are really pretty. They're like a double. I love anything with a double bloom. Hummingbirds land on this obelisk all the time. I love it. And then I have another magnolia tree here. My candy corn spirea is looking really good. Look at that orange against those reds and lime green. They play really well off each other. You see the bell that I got from Italy. I got that in Capri. And then I have 3 of the same containers. Look how pretty this Dichondra Falls is. It looks like lace to me. So, so pretty. I did have someone ask me if I overwintered this. I do not, but it's really easy for me to get this to. If you're struggling with proven winters, plants that you're not able to find, you can order that online if you like. But also on their website, you can go in and put your zip code, and it will tell you nurseries that are 50, 60 miles away or so from your house. And there might be something that's super close and you just never heard of or never even knew about that you can find a gold mine. That's how I found out Creekside Nursery was close to me that way. My lilac tree is doing really, really pretty, and it is a reblooming lilac. And I love these new buttercup, I think that's what they were called, coneflowers from Proven Winners. And this one is the raspberry beret. The bloom is just really big. Love it. And I love, 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 love this color of the yellow. Look how beautiful that is. I have some salvia back there. Lantana. More of the coneflowers. This is another hanging basket. This was my #1 video for the year when I planted all these purples in these hanging baskets. I actually got 20K views off that one, so that was a new achievement for me. Yay. And then I have Creeping Jenny that just started here somehow. I must have had it in a container. More lantana. This lantana is just doing really well. I saw the hummingbirds on this one the other day. And cat's pajamas. You can start pruning your cat's pajamas back. I still have bees on my cat's pajamas. And then for some reason, I've struggled with this rose. This is Celebration Rose, which I did not have any problem with last year. I've been treating this for fungus and black spot, but we've had so much rain this year. I don't know, so much rain. And then some more gorgeous dahlias over there. I love that this is one dahlia, but has so many different colors on it. It could look orange, it could look hot pink, and I have no idea which one this is, but it's beautiful. And then I got it up with plant support, you can see. I got those from Gardener Supply. I used to have it all around my hydrangeas, and then I pruned them back at the very bottom really hard this past year, and then I was able to use them for other things. So this is the rose garden, and this is Alexandra of Kent right here. And then look how really pretty these blooms are from. This is the musky, the real lilac color crepe myrtle. Sweet bee on this rose, Alexandra of Kent. There's a spit or bloom. And these are my sprinter boxwoods. They're looking pretty healthy, and I've already pruned them back several times this year. And I have some of the phenomenal lavender in these containers, and they're about ready to be done and need to be cut back. And this quadrant right here is Boscabelle, and I believe that this one is my most favorite rose. I just love the color. Lots of different colors on this one too. I love when it comes out to be more of a coral color like that. And then it has varying pinks too. So when they start aging, they get to be a light pink. I just pruned these yesterday, and I've already got spent ones. And then more of a hot pink color. This one has many petals. I love it. Let me come back to show you. I have 5 plants in there, if you wonder how many plants I have in that one. And then I probably have 18 sprinter boxwoods in each quadrant that are going all the way around. And then it's separated by a circle. And then we enjoy our fire pit here. But if you didn't want to do a fire pit, you could just have another little small living space here, or you can put a gorgeous fountain right there. That would give you another idea. When we went to Europe, this one inspired me to do this kind of design. So Boscabelle. And then have it separated here, so I can keep my quadrant separated. And then I like this little wall too, so you can sit here on these walls as well. if you have a lot of company over. That's the phenomenal lavender. I don't really have any really pretty ones, blooms from Alexandria of Kent. I've just showed you on the other side. And then these are the Oakland hollies. I have 3. I already showed you from the other side. And this is the Galloway urn. This blue moon punch has been really pretty this year, but it's stopped blooming some. So I don't know, I might need to spray it, or maybe it's just that time of year that it needs a break. But the only thing I know to spray it for is budworms. And you can use BT for that. And then look at the gorgeous Dicandra falls going all the way down to the ground here. I have another queen tut right here, and the Gomphrena. And that's from my raised bed. This quadrant right here is Eustasia Ave, and the deer heavily pruned it back. So I'm just starting to get some new buds from that, but it's more of a lighter pink. And then another lavender. And I did age my pots. I have videos on that as well. And then this one right here is Gabrielle Oak. And this one's lost a lot of its leaves lower down. Like I told you, it's been raining a lot, and I have battled with more of the black spot this year. So whenever I see the black spot, I try to like go ahead and just prune these leaves off if they haven't already fallen. And then of course, when they do fall, I try to rake the leaves up at the very bottom as well, so I don't. So of course, whenever we have our main big flush, will probably come for me in May, but they are reblooming, so you can see that I do have lots of clusters here. And this one is a real hot pink rose. I love the color on that one as well. And when it ages out, it gets a little bit lighter. But look at this cane where it's just kind of hanging over. This patio right here looks really, really pretty. Show you closer up. So most of the time these get bigger blooms, but they're kind of small this year. Now in the fall, I'll get bigger blooms than I will in the summertime because they like the cooler nights. So this is the crepe myrtle bark, and yes, it does kind of like flake off. So that gives you a little bit of different interest as well. Let me make my way up here to these blooms. You hear the birds. So this wraps up the backyard. So we'll head over to the skinny side garden on the east side next. So the air conditioner just kicked on. Of course, it's July and it is hot as I'll get out here in the 90s. This is the skinny side garden with lots of coneflowers. I need to move these sedum. They're not happy it gets too much wet right here, but a different coneflower there. And then I love this, blew my mind at volubulus down here. It's done really, really well. And then the surefire begonias, the red, are absolutely gorgeous. In between the surefire begonias, I have the double up begonias that don't get as tall, and they have more of a really small, dainty little bloom on them. You can kind of compare. This is the surefire, and this one is the double up. This one takes more shade. This one can take sun. But they both do well here because I get morning sun, but no all shade in the afternoon. And this is my shade loving perennials right here. And I have videos where I planted everything. That's the pulmonera. And believe it or not, I still have a couple little violas that are hanging on. It's funny. So you can see that I do definitely have bugworm problems. So do you see how this plant right here is eaten up? That's from some kind of caterpillar eating it. So I need to come in here and spray all my super bells. So maybe we can get some more blooms by fall. Of course, this has always been my little collection for planting, and I have none. Yay! My neighbor started this from a little seedling, and this is the Chinese redbud, so it's growing quite nice. I've had this one for 2 years. And then that's my camellia, white by the gate camellia. So this is my container right in between my two garages, and this is potato vine. That is green, sweetheart lime, and then the gumfrina. And you can see the bees. You see the bee? Where's the bee? Oh, right there. Loves this gumfrina. And this one is an aquapot, and it's the large aquapot. And then you can see more dicandra falls there. So I just fill this up once a week, and I have not had to water this. So this aquapot is great for people that aren't near the drip system, or you're bad about watering every single day, which I cannot water every single day. There's just no way. So either I have an aquapot or I have everything on drip, connected to drip, even my containers or anything in the ground. And I have lots of videos about that. You can learn yourself, and it's not that hard. I learned from other videos myself, so you can do it too. This is next to my front porch, and these are the white sun patience. And then I told you my caladiums were struggling, and I replanted them, and they're doing great. I love the caladiums because in the fall, when everything is looking really bad as far as an annual, these caladiums are still looking really, really pretty. So the pentas that weren't doing so great in this container, I replanted those, and they're looking really good. And look at this, you guys. This 3-tiered container from, what is the name? Kinsman Company is doing really, really pretty. So it's just 3 tiers, and it has the cocoa liners, and it's made with really, really nice quality materials here. And I love how, like, on the side here, I've got the white, and it just looks like it's layering down like a veil. Like, look how pretty that is all the way to the ground. It's just really, really pretty. Let me show you back up. Does it not kind of look like a veil? So I'll probably, could have done the pink as well. It would have been pretty to do the pink here, here, and then all the way down in another pink on the ground. Maybe next year, but I do like these plants right here together in this container. I think it looks really, really gorgeous. I liked my idea the first time, but it didn't take, so this one does really, really well. Someone commented that I had too many plants in here, but they're all holding their own in there together. And look, I actually have one of the caladiums trying to peek out that's doing much better. I have another, I thought I got all of them out, but I didn't. I have another caladium in here. And the pentas are much happier being in full sun. Cut the cat's pajamas back, and we pruned this juniper. It's already put on some new growth. So here's the containers. Like you can see that I did spray these for budworms, but I'm gonna have to spray them again. I don't have near the many blooms as I used to have. But I have the queen tut in here, and the gumfrina, and then the lime coleus, along with the snowdrift as well. But you can see I do have some damage on these too. Look, do you see how it's eating them? And I did spray these, but I guess I'm gonna have to spray it heavier with BT. And I'll throw the BT symbol up there for you. So 2 more containers right here with this very similar flowers in them, super bells. And then this is my drift of petunias here, mixed with the gumfrina. So this is the new persimmon that was out this year. And then I have the Mini Vista yellow super bells that are mixed in with that. And this one is called Midnight, I believe. I'll look it up and make sure I got the right name of the purple one. Just a whole big drift right here in the very front of the garden. And of course, this is a showstopper right now. This is the hardy hibiscus. And this one is berry awesome, I believe. And yes, like these blooms are like dinner plate blooms. And they only last for 1 day, but there's so many buds on this bush right here, this is a perennial. Comes back each year, but look how so pretty that is. Look at all that pollen just laying there on this bloom. And then I have my David Austin climbing lady by the lake behind that. And I'm trying to have this growing up that post right there. And then I have a hedge of the sprinter boxwoods in the back with 2 spiral boxwoods here in front. And then my Japanese maple that is a dwarf right there in the center. And I love how all these colors just mingled together. So this is another angle from the side. Look how big those trees are with the little lime or lime standard hydrangea form trees. And those are my biggest blooms. Like, they're as big as my head. Especially these ones right here. So big, look. So this was my new garden, the west side garden that you've all seen me plant up this past year. So I just carried over the same petunias that I had in the front here on the side with the gomphrena as well. And then this was the hill that I'm trying to keep from eroding. So I've got lots of plants in here with lots of roots that are going to help it keep all the ground stable and where the dirt won't start to roll down the hill. But these are the new double-coated raspberry coneflowers. And then that was the buttercream. Make sure the tag says what I'm telling you. Got the tag right here. Yeah, double-coated butter pecan. Double-coated butter pecan. Oh, look how pretty. And then I have the yellow lantana, the luscious lantana. And then some of the serendipity alliums are starting to come out. They remind me so much of the alliums that I planted as bulbs, but this one is a plant, and this is from Proven Winners. And you can see the bees love this one too. Now these bees never bother me. They're only interested in this flower, so I can be up real close to them and they will not come after me. So this is another one of my favorites that I feel like everybody should have in their garden. And then the sun hosta is doing really good, and it's gave me a little bloom. It's a white bloom. Believe it or not, the deer have not touched it. It's hard to believe, huh? So I'm trying to show you how big these blooms are, look. Compared to my head, they're so big and gorgeous. And then there's my climbing rose that I had a video on where I got the trellis, and I have 3 trellises behind it, and I tied them together with zip ties. It has a smaller bloom, but still very, very pretty. I'll throw the name up of this rose as well on the screen. And then the salvia is doing really, really good, and the bees are all over that one too. Along with lots and lots of color from my bubblegum super petunias, the Super Vista series. I have some lantana mixed in here as well, with some potato vine. Look how the bees love the salvia. I think this is called Playing the Blues salvia. My yin and yang's doing really good there in the background. And so is my honeysuckle that I have growing up the trellis right there. And it is like starting to wind up around that trellis. Look how pretty that is. There's the honeysuckle bloom. It's a reblooming honeysuckle. potato vine looks really nice. The lantana. So some is doing really, really well. I had some dianthesis that still looks good after you take the spent blooms off. I have some of the mountain hydrangeas that are out of bloom right now. A couple of azaleas that I replanted from the front look really good. Then I'll have 5 of the punkster blue butterfly bushes. Some melon. This one's called One in a Melon coneflower. These will come back for me each year. And this is what the punkster blue bloom looks like. And then panning up to the mid part right here is my lilac hardy hibiscus. And I have a lot of buds on them, but not a lot of blooms right now. I have one up there. Let me go show you. So this is what the lilac hardy hibiscus bloom looks like. I like the berry one better personally, but you don't want to have, I've got so far 1, 3, 4, 5 hardy hibiscus in my garden, and you want them a little bit different. And then each bloom will like die off and it'll start to look like this. This is a brand new bloom that's going to come out, and the ones that die off look like this. And they'll just fall off to the ground, or each day you can come and just take them off like I do. This is the other side of the punkster blue. Look how pretty. And I do take my spent blooms off, like that one. I'll just cut it off. And I think it re-encourages more, but I don't think you don't have to. But if you've got time, I would probably encourage you to do that. Alright, so let's carry on. This is the lime light coleus. More of the salvia. This salvia is actually a annual, but will be a perennial for us, so I'm not going to pull that up as well. And the bees are just all over this one. More butterfly bushes, more of the melon coneflowers. Gonna be on that one too. And then I swear I can't never think of the name. Everybody tells me, but anyways, these are from the corms, C-O-R-M-S. I made that mistake before, but look how beautiful these blooms are on here. So I'll throw the name up because everybody commented and told me what they were. But they're just reaching for the sun here. I had 25 of those in here. So you can see I had to take a little break, and the sun has came out today, but still I can show you bees all day long. See if I can get around to this one. Bees all over the salvia. It is loving this plant. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So look at this limelight hydrangea as well. It's not, the blooms on it are not as big as the other one down there, but still absolutely gorgeous. And that window right there leads right out into my living room, and I can see these gorgeous blooms also from my window, and I don't have to look at a blank side of a house. So think about that when you're planting stuff. So you want to be able to see stuff from the inside out as well. And this lantana is looking gorgeous right here, and very, very happy. Potato vine, I planted that from some kind of root, and I have no idea what it is, but evidently what it will be gorgeous, because I always pick out stuff that I love flower wise. And then this is my new Munstead wood that I planted this past year. It hasn't gotten really tall, but they're doing good, looking pretty healthy. So I have 2 of them currently, and 2 died. So David Austin's really good about reimbursement, and so I need to follow up on my email that I sent them. And look at this potato vine that's new from Proven Winners this past year. I have 2 plants here, and look, it has grown all the way up this obelisk right here. Look how gorgeous that is. That is so beautiful. Like, I'll have to do this every single year. I was gonna throw a clematis in there, but I don't think I will. This would probably be really, really pretty growing up my gate going into the side garden too. Like, this thing has just took off. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love the leaf structure. It's a little bit different, you know, than this leaf versus that one. It is beautiful. So I am so happy with that. And then I have some Russian sage that I grew around that. Now this one does better for me than the Russian sage from Proven Winners. So I don't know what the difference is, but this one is doing really, really good for me. And let's see, what else do I have in here? Got so many things. Oh, my foxglove back here is doing really, really pretty. So let me try to climb up this little hill here. These are the foxgloves that I got from, they did not come bare root, but they came as a small plant. Look how gorgeous they are. And I have 3 plants or 4 plants, and I planted 3 here and maybe 1 on the other side of this tree right here. And this right here is supposed to be creeping phlox, which doesn't look great right now, but maybe next year when it comes up fresh, it will. You can see that's a little bit of the drip system that I have up on this side hill. And this will bloom in the winter time. And let's see, and then this is my other hardy hibiscus that I have, and this one I believe is Candy Crush. So I have Berry Awesome, Lilac, and Candy Crush. So this one's more of a hot pink, where the other one definitely has a more of a berry color into it. But just a gorgeous bloom. Look how beautiful that is. The sun's just hitting on it. Absolutely gorgeous. And this is the other side of the cottage garden. This is my first plant that starts my cottage garden. And then I have these gorgeous, vibrant coneflowers that I planted. Look how beautiful. And then on the other side of my neighbor's yard right here. So you can see all the way down to where my lilac hardy hibiscus Rose of Sharon is down there. I don't really have anything spectacular on this side to share with you right now. My yarrow was looking good. Let's see where my yarrow is. But it's about ready to go out of bloom. So this was the firefly yarrow. And then I have 3 serendipities that aren't in bloom like the other ones that I showed you earlier quite yet. Look at this baptisia, how gorgeous it is even out of bloom. So these are have been known to be called rattlers because the seeds in here will rattle. They're not rattling yet, so I'll show you that when they start to rattle in the fall. But that baptisia is big, probably 4 feet tall. And this is the denim and lace Russian sage over here that just does okay, but it's just always stayed small and it's not thriving. And it gets plenty of sun right here. Just plenty of sun. These cryptomera trees give us a lot of gorgeous privacy, and I just think they're so beautiful. That's a Yoshio cryptomera tree. And then you can see the crepe myrtles are doing quite nicely right now. So I hope you have enjoyed this July garden tour and all these gorgeous blooms that I have here in July. Some have petered out and some are looking gorgeous. So remember, fall is the perfect time to plant your plants, and I hope I have given you some inspiration to plant plants in the fall. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.